Hello friends, I am Pranay Aggarwal. I am Director of IAS Gurukul, which is an institute dedicated to civil service exam preparation based in Delhi. Specifically, I have been teaching sociology optional for the UPSC exam for several years now. In this video, I will be discussing with you whether sociology is a good optional for the UPSC examination. Now, to answer this question, first we will have to arrive at a shared understanding of what do we mean by a good optional. If by good we mean popular, then yes, sociology is a very popular optional in UPSC examination. If by good we mean does it have a high scoring potential, then yes, it does have a high scoring potential. If by good we mean better than other optionals for the UPSC exam, then there is no clear cut yes or no answer. Reason being that various social science subjects which are popular as optionals in the UPSC exam, they amongst themselves they all have near about the same scoring potential mean, and all of them are fairly popular, and you will have toppers on in different years from one of these popular social science subjects. These basket of subjects which I am referring to include sociology, anthropology, psychology, philosophy, history, geography, public administration, political science, and international relations. Now, having said that, now let us try to analyze what are the benefits of the sociology optional. Okay, so now why is it a good optional? If I were to call it that, one reason is that it has a very concise and well defined syllabus, right? So UPSC sociology syllabus is very concise, quite well defined. Questions, particularly in paper 1, are fairly straightforward, right? They are not roundabout, or they do not expect, they're not like a bolt from out of the blue, right? They are fairly mostly direct, right? And also to a lesser extent, but also in paper 2. So one reason is that it has a small, well-defined, concise syllabus. This enables us to complete the syllabus or have a fair degree of hold over the subject in a fairly short span of time, say 3 to 3.5 months, right? We can develop a hold over the subject as is required for the UPSC examination. Another advantage of sociology optional, or should I say a plus, is that it is a fairly popular optional. Now, I'm not suggesting that one should have a herd mentality and choose the optional which others are necessarily choosing. However, its popularity is indicative of its reasonably high scoring potential. When I say it has a reasonably high scoring potential, then if I were to quantify it, one would say that one can score with good effort 300 plus marks in the sociology optional papers. So marks as high as 325, 330 are not unheard of in the sociology optional, provided you have a scientific approach to its preparation. Another reason why sociology is a good optional is because of the nature of its subject matter. Okay, without having any academic background in the subject of sociology, most people who take sociology optional, they have not ever studied it. Large number of engineering background students, medical background students, commerce background students who have never ever studied sociology in their academic life, they take up sociology as an optional in UPSC exam. So you don't require any prior academic background in the discipline. And why is that? Because the subject matter, it is about society. We are studying about society, and as fairly grown up members of society at the ages of 20, 21, 24, we are already aware of various social institutions, and that is what the subject matter of sociology is. So without having studied family, for example, academically, we already have some notions, some ideas, and very importantly, some experiences of having lived in a family. Likewise, religion. Likewise, poverty, inequality, politics, economy, right? We all have a very high degree of familiarity So the subject matter of sociology is very familiar to us without having studied it, right? This helps us to internalize the academics of this subject, all right, in a fairly easy manner, right? It is easy to understand, and it is a very relatable subject. Another very important advantage of sociology optional is that it is immensely helpful in the essay paper. In the essay paper, you have to write 2 essays from first section and the second section. The total essay paper is for 250 marks, 125 marks each. Now in both sections, you have to choose 1 out of 4 or 5 topics, right? So total say 8 topics, you have to choose any 2 and write. Out of those 8 odd topics, at least 4 or 5 topics in the essay paper, they are some social issues, right? So for example, various social issues which are recurrent themes in the essay paper include the position of women in society or women's empowerment and other women related. Then children related, like the role of education in society, how children are the future of our country, so on and so forth. It could be about the impact of science and technology on the society, so on, and an evaluation of Indian democracy, so on and so forth, right? All these social issues we discuss threadbare from multiple perspectives in sociology optional. So as a student of sociology, you will have a distinct edge over others who have some other optional, right, in the essay paper. So that is very importantly. Also, to some extent, the insights we get in sociology optional, they also help us to develop a broader worldview, and therefore give mature and more nuanced answers in the interview. Another advantage of this optional is that it is quite scientific in nature, right? So because it is scientific in nature, lot of students from science or engineering backgrounds have a natural inclination towards this discipline. When I say it is scientific in nature, what basis do I say that? See, instead of now forming generic opinions about, say, some social institution like family or poverty or religion, now we will be basing our analysis based on empirical data, all right? So this scientific nature makes marks fetching in this discipline easier, and those who have a scientific bent of mind, right, they are able to better grasp this discipline. Last but definitely not the least, another important reason for choosing sociology optional is that it is an extremely interesting subject. Interest, admittedly, is a very individual specific, so something which appeals to one student may not appeal to another. Having said that, most of my students have given me this feedback that they find this subject extremely enriching. There's a multiplicity of viewpoints that there's a lot of things which they were, it helps break a lot of their preconceived notions, right? And therefore it's a very engrossing and engaging subject about our immediate society or environment in which we have been living for several years. We begin viewing that same society, same social institutions in a very, very different light, right? So these are the various advantages of sociology as an optional subject. Having said all this, let me also admit that being a student and teacher of sociology, there may be an inherent bias in my views on this optional subject. So the choice ultimately is that of the individual student, right? And please make a very informed, conscious, considered choice when it comes to the optional subject. Don't take any optional, including sociology, merely because X, Y, or Z teacher or friend or family member has said so. Please gauge your individual interest and inclination towards that subject and then choose the optional. Thank you.